And we're live.
Hey, what's up, guys? We just finished watching Beyond the Wall, the most recent episode of Game of Thrones. We are here at Queen's Landing. I'm your host, Melissa. My co-host is Gabby, and we are here with the young folks writer, Katey, and we're gonna delve deep into Beyond the Wall. So much happened. It was a long episode. We just finished watching it. We're very, very raw, and we're gonna go ahead and do this now. Let's get into it, guys. We open up with the guys taking up their trip beyond the wall. Suicide Squad.
Yeah, seriously. I'm really like surprised that mostly none of the key characters died of
I
that
know. I
grouping.
call bullshit. Bullshit. I feel like at least one of them should at least turn. Like that would have been like so cool and devastating.
There was that
Like
moment.
Tormund almost died.
Yeah.
He could have at least turned. That would have been cool.
Although
But it
that
wasn't really like a battle. It was more like a survival type of scene. So it's not really my favorite battle. I still think the best battle this season was the loot train, or the field of fire, as some fans like to call it. But it was cool.
that moment with Tormund though was pretty like in the moment it's a good like tension building scene. The whole time I was like, oh my god, how is he not dying? And then also not wanting him to die. So
Yeah, I thought for a second he was gonna die, and I'm like, oh god, they got rid of him. We never got to see his little thing with Brienne. So, but yeah, I really thought I thought going into this episode someone was gonna die, and I'm for the most part surprised. And I mean, I liked the way the battle was filmed. I thought that part when they were like in the middle and the hound sorry the hound like came and he kind of riled them up and they were coming at him and then they were like getting ready to fight. I just thought that was really cool, like the way it was done.
So dumb of the Hound.
I know it was so dumb. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, oh, like first he got scared the first time they encountered them and he didn't do shit. Second time he started the shit. So I'm like, oh,
I do have a question though. Why were none of the White Walkers or the Army of the Dead moving forward? Like why was it at a
There
standstill?
was water, like the ice was breaking. So these
Okay.
zombies are actually smart and competent zombies. They were like, well, we can't go near you right now because there's water and we're going to drown. So we're going to wait till it freezes. Which is my other problem with these zombies. I feel like they're too smart.
are they smart? Or are they kind of like mind controlled by their leader? Like, does their leader kind of?
Is it mind control? Because I don't know. Because like, I have a lot of questions. They can wield weapons. They can. They stop killing to watch a dragon fall out of the sky because it died. Spoiler. I mean, we're watching this for the series. RP. They drag a dragon out of the lake. They know when water is frozen again so that they can walk over to their enemies and kill them. These are very smart zombies.
I also had a question of maybe all of them are somehow connected, or in the sense that whichever White Walker makes them is connected to them. Because the one that they had captured, I think it was the Hound had like hit him and it like screamed or something, and then the rest of the surrounding ones screamed. So I was like, oh, can they like feel each other's pain? But I don't know. I feel like we've seen enough of like the Army of the Dead and see them like get killed constantly that I don't know if it's too late to bring that kind of like thing into
I wish
the
we knew
show.
more about them. Like next season, I want like a whole scene with just the White Walkers, with the Night King talking with his generals, hearing them speak, like in their language, see how they strategize, see how their powers work. I want to know more about them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of only see him from afar, and we don't really understand his power, how he got. I mean, I think we had that thing where how he came to be. We learned that, but I mean, yeah, understanding his power because seem to learn something new every single time, and but yeah, that is a good question. I do think they're mind controlled because a lot of them were falling into that water and then suddenly they stopped. So I feel like it was kind of like an automated stop, like someone stopped them. That's my impression. But again, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out to see
Well,
if they go into
that kind of reminds me of that scene back in season 5. And just to like get this out in the air, that I literally just caught up with Game of Thrones, like all of it, in the past 2 months or so. And so this battle is like fresh in my mind, that scene in season 5 when I forget the name of the town, but when Jon goes to recruit all of the wildlings and then they're attacked by the White Walkers. And that one, when they all fall over that hill and they're like, just, it's kind of like World War Z sort of, and then they all just stop at the bottom of it and you're like, oh, are they like dead or whatever? But then they all get up at the same time. That kind of has like a feeling of mind control / they're some kind of like they're in sync with each other or something.
Yeah, I mean,
more White Walker scenes next season.
Well, I think it's kind of a given now, especially because they have an ice dragon, which I'm scared about. I mean, I have to admit, I did not read any theories. I did not even predict that happening. It makes sense for them to be able to turn a dragon. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I thought a dragon was going to die, but not at the hands of the White Walkers and not be turned into one of their creatures. I'm just like, I'm a little sad. I mean, I don't know.
So I was, of course, I always watch Inside the Episode, and when D&D were talking about it, they're saying how like the Night King's kind of like killing two birds with one stone, because not only is he going to kill a dragon, but he sees this as an opportunity to use this like massive weapon against man. So he's looking at the bigger picture about killing people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was like, got to get one of those dragons, and he did. And I mean, I think it definitely changes the tides, because we all felt, okay, well, Dragonstone has a ton of dragon glass. It's going to, help them fight. They got dragons. Dragon's going to kill them all. But we didn't anticipate them kind of acquiring one of, the major weapons from Daenerys's and the human side to use against. I keep saying us because I feel like I'm invested with these people. But yeah, I mean, it's just it blows my mind. I think it's a real game changer for sure, because I think.
But we also have more information on the White Walkers, like a little bit more, because now we know if you kill the Night King, you kill the rest of his zombies, White Walkers. And
don't you think that's so easy though?
Yeah, it's kind of a cop out.
But that's good, because I always thought like you guys can never have enough dragon glass to murder all of these zombies. Like this is crazy. So I feel like this does make it easier, but I think that's good, because I feel like it's working its way towards a one-on-one fight between Jon and the Night King, right? I mean, I'm getting that feeling, because I feel like the Night King's always giving him that look. They always make a shot of like Jon looking at the Night King. I think down to that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely leading to that fight. I just was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I was a little like, okay, so all you got to do is kill this guy and you're done. I mean, which is kind of like, I mean, what you have to do to take over a kingdom is kill the king and it's yours. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I guess I just initially expected a little bit more to it. I'm sure it's going to be very hard to kill him now, especially with the ice dragon.
Yeah, I mean, he's got crazy powers. I mean, like the men needed the scorpion thing to shoot a spear into the sky, and the Night King just threw it from his freaking arm. Like, he's an Olympian. He's got like crazy ice magic. So he's going to be very difficult to defeat.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah. They should all be. And hopefully, next week Cersei is convinced, but I doubt it, because I mean, she has a zombie at her employ, so why should she care?
No, she doesn't give a shit. She doesn't. You can show her the dead person, she'll be like, you're all here, let me kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. One other part that I found very interesting in tonight's episode was this whole dynamic between Sansa and Arya. I was like,
yeah, that scene, I feel like that was the best scene for me because it was so like riveting to watch.
Yeah.
Like they're not giving me what I want, that warm fuzzy reunion, but I'm still like invested because I still want them to work out. I still want them to work together, and they're fighting. It's breaking my heart, but it was still very interesting to watch that back and forth between them.
It was. I mean, I was so, yeah, like you said, riveted. I thought it was some of the best writing on the show. And like, I mean, the acting too between the two girls, they really kind of nailed. I know they're friends in real life. So in a lot of ways, we almost expected them to have this really gushy sisterly reunion a couple episodes ago, and they didn't. And it was kind of leading up to this tension, and they play it off so well. And I'm just like, damn, like I don't know whose side to take, honestly, because I feel like I think Sansa is kind of playing her own game. I'm hoping that she's thinking, above Littlefinger's influence, and by sending Brienne away, I thought she was trying to get Brienne out of the equation, but now I wonder if she did it because Littlefinger mentioned her and was afraid that she would get hurt by Brienne. But I don't think that's the case. I think she wanted Brienne out so that Brienne wouldn't hurt Arya because she has a feeling that Arya might hurt her. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. I just can never hope for the best for people on this show because it never works out. Like the whole like Northern conspiracy from last season didn't pan out very well. So I feel like unfortunately this is all a game for Littlefinger. But I noticed the look that Sansa was giving us after Brienne told her, like, how do you know that these men are loyal to you? How do you know that Littlefinger isn't talking to them behind your back? And then she sends Brienne away, and then there's a shot of her, like thinking and contemplating. So maybe she's hopefully thinking, wait, what if this is a play from Baelish?
I mean, I hope she is. I hope she, understands that anything Littlefinger says to her is a play because that's what he does. I mean, so, but also that scene between her and Arya at the end where, she has a knife in her hand and she's, essentially threatening her in a very non-threatening way. It was amazing. But, yeah, I'm really curious to see how I'm hopeful that they will resolve. They have, I don't know, it has to have some kind of resolution, I think, by next week.
I just feel like Arya's being way too hard and judgmental.
That's what I think.
Yes, I mean, she's always seeing things just black and white, and that's always like her main issue, They're different people, and they both survived in different ways with their different environments. Yes, Sansa made a bad mistake, but Arya hasn't made smart decisions either. How about when, Jaqen H'ghar, when she met him, and he said, name 3 people and I'll kill them. She didn't say Joffrey. She didn't say Tywin. And then the Red Wedding happened. So how about she, stops being judgmental about that?
That's what makes that scene between them so good, though, is because they're both right in a way. They have too much pride, I think, to like admit to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
doesn't have the receipts on Arya the way Arya has them on Sansa.
Yeah, or to like admit each other's mistakes, I think, or like admit their own. I don't know what I'm saying, but like it's hard to pick a side because us as an audience, we've seen both of their journeys, whereas they'll never be able to understand the other one's journey at all, especially since even in the beginning when we didn't have a lot of scenes with them, you could tell they weren't like best of sisters because they were just so different from each other. So I think this like confrontation between them is a long time coming.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think it was sort of easy to forget that throughout the seasons because they'd been apart for so long.
Yeah.
And then now they're together and it makes sense. I mean, like you said, when you remember what they went through, how they were in the first season. So yeah, I definitely think it ended up being the most like contentious like relationship on this show right now, and I think it's gonna be. I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward to resolve this, because I feel like this is going to have to kind of have some kind of turn within, by next week, I would assume. I don't think they're going to drag it out throughout the next season, given the limited amount of time. You guys only have like 7 episodes left, so yeah.
It's super fast paced.
Right. So yeah.
But I just need Arya to have a little bit of empathy and sympathy for her sister. Piss me off.
Yeah. My only issue is like my feeling that Sansa is kind of trying to undermine Jon. And that's the only part where I'm just kind of like,
her back in Winterfell. I mean, Arya's accusing her of like, you don't want him to come back, do you? Because then you'll just be the Queen of the North. I don't think she wants her brother dead. I think, yeah, like she wants more credit for winning the Battle of the Bastards because she's the one who wrote to Littlefinger and he got the veil there. Sure, she wants credit, but she doesn't want him dead.
Well, I don't think she wants him dead either, but I think she wants him out, which is different. And I mean, I don't know. I never trusted Sansa's feelings on Jon. And that's the only reason why I'm like a little understanding of what Arya is feeling at the moment. But I do think that Arya should have more empathy for her sister, and like especially when she said, "You don't know what I've been through," and she was a little bit cold in her response to her about that. And I think she could afford her sister some empathy and some understanding, and especially given everything she's been through and why Sansa feels it's so important for her to retain and establish her place at home. So yeah.
Definitely.
I think, we can kind of move on to Daenerys and kind of her part with Tyrion in the beginning, because I thought it was interesting. And it's always a detail I forget, that Daenerys can't bear children. Now, was this ever confirmed before, or was it just something that was kind of spoken?
She said it before, throughout the series. I remember specifically like in season 2 when her dragons were kidnapped and Jorah was like, well, let's just leave. But she's like, no, I can't leave them because they're my kids and they're the only kids I'll ever have. Because she was cursed by the witch who did the blood magic in season 1. So she can't have kids. But in this episode, I feel like they brought up future children a lot.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Jon and Daenerys. So there's speculation that like she'll magically get pregnant, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, can I ask?
My thinking was that like. Okay, go ahead first.
Oh, sorry, just real quick. Can I ask about Jon and Daenerys? Because I've skimming through a bunch of the stuff to get ready to watch this episode. I feel like I missed a lot of nuances. Because to me, this like hinting at a relationship, that's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Feels a bit jarring, but I think that's just because I like jumped into this episode. Has it been like
it's still jarring?
Okay,
rushed. It's kind of rushed. I mean,
rushed.
Being out for him, hoping that he's coming back and he didn't die. I'm thinking like, why do you care about him so much?
Yeah.
Like, since when do you have feelings? So it happened really fast.
Yeah, It did happen really fast, and I mean, yeah, I've been complaining about it every Sunday night, but yeah, it's like the Bachelor kind of romance fast. Like,
I mean, I'm not like against that relationship at all. I'm just like, I kind of wish, because Game of Thrones is really good at like planting the seeds like early on, and I like the time they take with building with stuff like that, but not this one, I guess.
Yeah, no, there was no building of that relationship, really.
No, they kind of just sort of expected you to expect it, given she represents fire and he represents ice, and this is a song of fire and ice.
True, and plus he's like the literary like mythical hero type, and then she's like the foil of that basically. So they have to get together, right?
Yeah, essentially. We're gonna follow like all those kind of fantasy tropes that have been established, throughout literature. But I think, I think they didn't give us enough time to kind of really
believe
engage
it.
in this relationship, you know?
Yeah.
Besides the fact that it's, you know, aunt and nephew, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Besides
But what I was gonna bring up was that, do you think, like, you know how the Targaryens, I mean, they're all like incestuous relationships. I mean, do you think that because he's a Targaryen that he would be the exception to the rule and help her bear children? Because it's like kind of like their thing. I don't know. It's like the random shit I think of.
maybe. A friend of mine brought a good point. How like maybe she was cursed to not have kids with Drogo anymore, but like with other men, I don't know. But then I'm thinking she banged Dario a lot, and she still didn't get pregnant. So I don't know.
I mean, they could have used protection for all we know.
Oh, come on. There's no protection in that world.
Yeah, just ask
So,
Cersei
like,
and Jaime.
Yeah, no.
I feel like her getting pregnant somehow is possible.
I definitely think it will happen because it kept mentioning what's going to be the future of this empire, and then Jorah said, like, you know, keep this for your future children and your future family. Like, he knew, like, but he gave up on that love triangle, you know. So,
but
yeah.
Tyrion also mentioned like there are other ways to do succession, like the Night's Watch and like the people in Pike. So like, what if she dies, and then she just has Jon be the king because he's the rightful heir.
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think she's gonna die. I'm like one of those people.
You really don't think so?
No, I don't. I think Jon's gonna die because he's like the hero.
He already died, though.
I think, yeah.
Well, she's the hero. The thing is, she's always willing to risk her life. Like, she's kind of careless. She's always willing to die for what she's for what she's fighting for. Like, she could die. He could die too, but she could die too.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm becoming less and less convinced that she's gonna die, and I think that she will live, and I think she's gonna create like a democratic system for Westeros.
Let's be.
That's my green side.
Let's be real though. Like, how cynical. I mean, okay, there's a lot of deaths and whatever killing in Game of Thrones, but how cynical of an ending would it be if it wasn't Khaleesi on that Iron Throne? Like, who else could be there?
I don't think it'd be that cynical. I think it just depends on who it is. Like, if it was, Cersei at the end of all this, I would be really freaking pissed. And yeah, that would be a very cynical ending. But like, if it was, I guess, Jon, who I can't see as keen. I don't think he's that type of person who would want that role. I mean, I would be okay with it, but I wouldn't. I don't know. I would have to see how that progressed and got to that point. But yeah, I'm also having like a feeling too that the show might end kind of like with us never knowing, because it'll like end in.
Oh my God, no! It cannot do that to us. Right to them.
You know what? Sometimes that's better than like picking the absolute wrong person or the wrong ending.
White Walkers wipe them all out, then not give me an ending of who sits on the throne.
Yeah, like it's the Night King who sits on the throne. How would you feel? That's cynical.
That'd be amazing. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine that being like the final shot. That would be a crazy.
And like all our tears. Like
we make you wait. We make you wait for winter for 7 years, and now it's gonna be here forever.
Yeah, I know exactly.
The land of always winter.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. They always said winter is coming, so
we're warned. They were right.
We're doing it again of ourselves. It's so hard not to do. But who do you think is going to sit on the throne at the end? Will Jon die? Dany die? Who knows? Let us know.
Yeah,
in our choice.
Are you ready to start a segment? Wait, what?
And that's it.
Sorry.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? We covered Dany, Tyrion.
No, I think we can kind of get into our segments now.
All right, cool. So with our segments, we do them every week. They're so much fun. We start out with REEK of the Week. This is basically a person that we didn't really like this episode, we disagreed with, or we just think they suck. And it's named after the REEK himself, Theon Greyjoy. which we'll see next week. I'm excited.
Are you
And
that
Gabby.
excited? Okay, sorry. All right. So my REEK of the week is the Hound for being like, first of all, saying the C word like an excessive amount of times. And then just being like, first, you know, totally like flaking out in that first like ambush of the undead, and then like inciting them by throwing rocks at them in the second part of that. So yeah, he was just a pain in the ass this episode, honestly, and didn't really help anyone. I mean, he did fight people off and he saved Tormund, but I don't know, I was super annoyed.
It was like frozen fire. Ah!
I mean, if he literally like just waited like 2 minutes, Daenerys would have been there already. But yeah, so yeah, he is my REEK of the week.
And you, Katey?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Arya, and we kind of talked about why earlier, and part of me thinks it's because I missed some of the nuances of her journey from like training and then getting back to Winterfell. But I thought she was like too harsh on Sansa. I mean, they both weren't, you know, acknowledging their other sisters' pain or whatever, but Arya was just a little too much for me this time around.
Cool. My REEK of the week is also Arya, because I feel like she was being way too harsh on her sister, not empathizing enough. You know, at the House of Black and White, she didn't learn anything about the gray area. Sansa has messed up, but she's also grown and evolved, and they should be banding together, not fighting each other. And she doesn't see that, so that's going to be kind of, I think, detrimental for her character. So she is my REEK of the week.
That's a good one.
And next up, we have our lady or Lord Commander of this episode. This is basically the person that we think is the MVP, the person who owned this episode. And Gabby, do you have a Lord or lady?
Jon Snow, I think, which is not surprising at all. But yeah, I love Jon Snow, and I mean, he was amazing in this episode. He saved the day. He sacrificed himself to help the others, you know, get out of there before the Night King did any more damage. And I truly like. I was, you know, he finally bent the knee, you guys.
That's right.
He did.
We did not talk about that ending scene.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it now. I say usually the segments end up bringing up like stuff we miss.
Yeah.
So yeah, he the knee, and a very like, I have to admit, it was a poignant scene. Like, I have to say that's the most emotional scene I've seen between those two. So I'm finally starting to get it, but I'm not conceding in this, like, in my feelings of this relationship. I kind of get it, but I'm not there yet. So wait.
Well, there was a big reveal. She sees his bare chest and she sees the stab wounds, and I thought she was going to say something about it, but I guess with that one look, I guess we can kind of deduce that she like knows that he has been stabbed in the heart, literally.
Yeah. So yeah, I think she knew. I think she kind of understood that it was meant literally, and that you know, I don't think she needed to ask any more questions, or if she does, she'll ask later on. But it was probably not the right moment. But yeah, I mean, I just think that he was very brave, and he was like literally willing to sacrifice himself, knowing how important he is to the North and their cause and everything. But you know, I think he's just the ultimate hero of the series. And yeah, he was amazing this episode. So there you go, Jon Snow.
Katey, do you have a Lord or Lady Commander?
I was gonna go with Jon too. Not just him as a character, but like kind of pulling the lens back a little bit. Just, I think the scenes that have to do with White Walkers and sort of the supernatural side of this world are a lot more interesting than the fight for the throne. Obviously, like, that stuff is interesting too. I'm just like really into the supernatural side, and Jon is a huge part of the supernatural side. So I liked like him just, you know, letting everyone else get onto the dragon's back and then turn around and fight all those walkers or zombies or whatever, and then like basically drown and then almost freeze. which is fine with me. And that sounds bad, but one of my favorite like literary tropes was people like dying or and then coming back to life, or like people thinking they're dying and then like the reunion scenes later. That's my favorite. So when Jon was like drowning, I was like, well, he can't die because he already died. So obviously he's gonna come back. So I was really excited. And that's basically why I thought he was awesome, because he almost died again.
And my lady commander of this episode is the one who had the gangsterest coat I've ever seen, Daenerys. She saved the day. I guess I'm a big dragon fan. I'm a dragon girl. I can never get enough of their scenes, and I love it when she comes in and she's destroying all the zombies. We got a peek, I think, of what we're gonna see even more of next season when it comes down to the zombies and the dragons. So I love that scene, and you know, she's really brave too, and she goes against Tyrion's advice of doing nothing, and she lets him know, you told me to do nothing before. I'm not doing it again. And she made the right call this time, because she saved the guys who went out there to get the zombie, and she has the zombie in hand. And yes, and like I said, I loved her coat. I feel like there should be replicas of her outfits.
Another cool thing about Dany this episode was that even though one of her dragons died, she didn't regret going to save them. And her admitting that to Jon, I think, was a really powerful thing for her to do. I think she can get, if there are other witnesses to that scene in show, she would get a lot more respect just for saying that, I think. Not that she doesn't already have a lot, but...
Yeah. I agree. I mean, she would have been she's pretty much my second runner-up for this particular segment, just because... Yeah, when she wrote in. And I do agree that her jacket was awesome. And I was like, kind of want something for that for this winter. But yeah, I mean, the way she wrote in, and then her face when her dragon fell was just so devastating. And I felt really, really bad for her at that moment. So it was definitely like the Jon and Daenerys show tonight, and I was all for it. Just not them together quite yet, but on their own, they're great. Oh, and shout out to Benjen for coming in right at the right time.
Cold hands, yes.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, he's always the, what was it called? The Machina. He's always saving Starks. That's what he's good for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next up, we have our sword, where we take our metaphorical swords and swing them at the character. We just want them to die already, and we just can't stand anymore. We just disagree with everything that they do. We can't stand their faces and the very breath that they breathe. Okay, and we all have named our swords. And we're going to let you guys know who we would swing our swords at. Gabby, what is your sword's name, and who would you kill?
My sword's name is Fireheart, and for once, I'm not going to give it to Littlefinger this week, but the Night King for killing the dragon. So I'm so upset. It was just so it was like a really devastating fall. I'm like, oh my god! And especially like in recent episodes, how much she's kind of emphasized how they are her children and all that, and I'm like, oh, no. When it fell, oh man, I was so sad. And then at the very end, when we learned that Ice Dragon did that to her poor baby, I'm just like, no. Fireheart is slashing through the Night King and hopefully killing the whole undead army, apparently.
Good one. And you, Katey?
All right. I'm really bad at coming up with names. So, and I am going to choose Littlefinger because I've never been on this podcast before, and I just need to talk and hate on him. And you know what? The sword is going to be named Littlefinger because I think that would be fitting that he gets killed by his own sword. One, I can't stand his voice. It's like very stormy and creepy, and I'm like, just stop talking. And so anytime he's on scene, like, okay, nothing against the actor or anything, he's great, but I can't stand it when he talks. So yeah,
You're not alone. So
You're not alone, because in fact, my swing the sword is also Littlefinger, because I'm just so sick of him. At this point, I hate Littlefinger more than I hate the Night King. He's just destroying and causing chaos for some ladder, because chaos is a ladder, I understand. But I'm sick of him. And I can't wait to see him die. Hopefully it's next episode. So, yeah. And my sword's name is Dawn.
we say this like every week. Like, he's gonna die next episode. He's gonna die next episode, and he's still alive, you guys.
well, maybe it'll be next episode.
Hopefully. I mean, if we have to see him in season, what's the next season, 8, right? I'm like getting confused. I would be like, more. But yeah, hopefully he's gone.
Yes. And next we have our green site, which we already always do during our conversation, but I guess it's not like a cool little recap to see what we think is going to happen next episode or in the future season. And yeah, Gabby, do you have green sight?
Well, not really. I was kind of thinking about what's gonna happen next week, and I think a few people are gonna die. I don't know who, but I think they're not gonna get out of King's Landing unscathed. I don't think Cersei is gonna die though. I mean, I kind of initially, I think we all kind of initially went into this season thinking that Cersei was gonna meet her end, and she's really surprised us at almost every turn. And now, I mean, she's just as dangerous as the Night King. I'm like freaking scared for her. I'm scared of her, and like that they're going there. And I'm like, I just think it's a stupid idea to try to work with Cersei. Like, just try to kill her. I mean, don't even work with her. She's nuts.
Yeah,
My rant.
I agree. She's always looking out for number one. I mean, she's always been this way. I mean, it's like I said. I feel like I see her working with the Night King before she works with a Stark or Targaryen. She, is not trustworthy. If she has the opportunity to kill these people, she'll probably take it. So it's going to be, hopefully it's a very riveting episode next week to see how she responds to this.
Yeah. Oh, I think it definitely will be riveting. I think it'll be that. I think that whole season's gonna be full of tension and crazy. But yeah, I'm just scared to see what happens because I don't trust her at all. And she's proven to be smarter than Tyrion, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm really scared, you guys.
Katey, do you have any green sight?
I think something's got to happen with like the Cersei, Jaime, and Tyrion triangle, just because they're siblings and they all kind of hate each other, obviously, except for Jaime and Cersei. But like Tyrion going up against his siblings, there's something's got to come from that, but I don't know what yet.
Yeah,
something explosive.
Well, you make me think now that Tyrion's gonna die.
Sorry, that's what I was thinking.
I know. I mean, I'm scared now. I mean, I keep saying that because I am, though.
Or maybe Jaime will.
I don't think so. I mean, also Brienne's gonna be there, which is gonna be interesting to see her interact with Jaime after all this time. Maybe remind him of his decent side, but I don't know. I think we're kind of, after this episode, we're all kind of like, okay, they have the proof. It's just now relying on Cersei's reaction, which is completely unpredictable. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm just like, I guess I'm just gonna sit there and be like, okay, be ready for anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, previews for next week, like both sides have like massive amounts of armies with them, like getting ready for a battle if things go wrong at this meeting. So we'll see.
Yeah, we definitely will.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us at Queen's Landing. We love doing this post show. We're big fans of the show, obviously. If you want to ask us any questions or if we missed something, let us know on our Twitter. You can see it right here on the screen, TWIS Official. And then we all have our respective Twitter handles for the season finale. So excited. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.